Okay, so we're done. Um, we've taken off the pattern piece, and I'm going to explain what we've got for you here. We've got a basic pattern. It's not a blueprint, but it is an exact replica of the shapes and the placements of the different components in a modernistic slash cub teardrop trailer. So what we have here is, from clear down at the bottom and around, you have your profile. These areas in here is where your back wall to your galley, the interior wall of the cabin would be. The original placement of the counter. If you've seen a lot of Modernistics, you know that most of the old originals only had this half galley lid. This bottom part was enclosed, and you access this space from on top of the counter either through a ice box or a little storage area. We've included a full-length galley lid. So if you wanted to access your under-counter galley area like, most teardrops, you would just extend this clear down to this point here. Down here you'll see the drawing where your floor is. Again, we recommend ACX plywood, either a 4x9 sheet or a 5x9, depending on how wide your teardrop trailer is going to be. That floor there is exactly 96 inches? No, 9 feet. That's down to the front. The other thing, you'll see some modifications is on a door over here. The original Modernistic door was a little small. The original is done here in the solid blue line. It has sort of a crowned door. And in here would be the placement of a 15x18 crank out window for that. Now we've also added in here some options for you. You can widen your door out here where these the slotted line is. If you wanted the original crown of the Modernistic, you would follow this line here. Or if you like on your door a more rounded teardrop drawer, such as the one over here on this 47 kit, a very desirable, aesthetically pleasing door, you would want to follow down here this line. Now this line is good to go with either width of door. Same line. Now, if you're going to go with the larger door, you're going to want to shift this window 2 inches. And you would also want to do that if you were using the rounded top edge like this. We've added over here where placement of some kind of cubby in the front end would be, some sort of storage or a shelf. It still leaves you from this point down here to the end of where your feet are under the cabinets. Still leaves you 80 inches. Plenty long for even us tall folks. Again, this is the original suggested height for a shelf in the interior of the cabin. However, something to always remember is the thickness of whatever kind of mattress you're going to be using. I happen to like 6 inches of foam with a 1-inch foam topper. That adds up. And so for me, I would probably lift my shelf some. Big storage in a teardrop is nice, but if you can't comfortably shift your feet in the middle of the night, kicking your shins and whatnot. It's something to think about. Also, down at the very bottom of the pattern, real quick, if you want your teardrop to have a very smooth look, not showing the frame, such as in here, you don't see the frame. We call them skirts. You're going to want to save that piece. Don't cut it up and throw it away, because that's going to be the skirt that's going to hide the frame of your trailer. The only other thing that is we've made a modification to is over here where you're going to be putting your galley lid hinge. Now, if you're going to go with the old school piano type hinge, this would be your point right here, original hinge point. If you want to use one of the Little Bear style galley lid hinges, also known as hurricane hinge, you got to do a little modifying. It needs a 90-degree angle. And so what we do to accommodate that is we put in a nailer, a stud, I don't know the proper term for it, but this piece that's going to go across the inside of the galley area, it's going to attach to the cabinetry on the back, and it's going to provide this mega support for your galley lid. Piano hinges are fine, but you know, they're just attached to the top up here and then the lid, and it makes the lids, you know, like top heavy, lid heavy. Grant's been building these since 1984, and he swears by this. His customers have had no problems with their galley lids when applied in this way. So that's another little modification here. I've also included a drawing of a chassis. Now, if you're going to have the sleek look of your skirts, your frame isn't showing, it's just a tiny bit more to have one made than to, you know, buy a prefab one. So right here we've included the directions that you could give to almost any competent welder in your area, and he should be able to provide you with a frame chassis that's going to last a lifetime. One more thing, something to consider. I know you get excited, you got your pattern, you're ready to cut it out, so you got some shape going on your build, but some things that some people learn the hard way is there's a few things you got to take into consideration before you go buy your plywood. Because the width of your walls is very important way down the road when you're like almost done, you're ready to trim it out, and oh my goodness, my walls are 1.5 inches thick and there's no trim available. So you want to take into account your wall thickness, any exterior product you're going to put on it, interior product you're going to put in your trailer, to have an overall thickness. The same is with your door. If you're going to make your door and not buy a prefab one, which I would recommend making one, you're going to find out it's not that hard. In order to use the best hinge for the door, it can't be more than 1 inch thick. So we can get into that more in detail over on Chick Built on Facebook. But I just wanted to throw that out there before anybody goes and buys, you know, 3/4 inch plywood and get excited and add a 1/4 inch exterior and a 1/4 inch interior, and oh my God, now we don't have any trim. So we did it, yay! And this is, like I said, this is for one of the ladies there on Facebook, Chick Built. And I'm super excited to get hers going. Now I'm going to cut mine out for my build, and let's get this started, ladies. See you later.